Today I'm going to show you how to sew the easiest zippered heart purse that you can make. You can make this into just a heart pouch or add a strap to it and make it a purse in any kind of length strap that you want, and I'm going to show you how. To print the pattern pieces that you need to make this heart pouch, click on the link in the description box, or if you are watching from our website, alohasewingcompany.com, welcome and sew along. And if you are a beginner sewer, don't shy away from this project. I'm going to show you each step. Even if you've never added a strap before, or maybe you've never sewn a zipper, it's so easy and I'm going to show you. The pattern comes with different heart sizes. Choose which one you're going to make and make sure your zipper is a little bit longer than that heart size. Buy or make your own strap so that you can add this as a purse if you want to, and then have two coordinating fabrics. One for your inner pouch or purse and one for your outer. If you want to add some structure to your pouch or bag, go ahead and add some one-sided fusible fleece to the wrong sides of the outer bag or pouch. If you've never done this before, let me show you how in just a second. Cut out 3 pieces of one-sided fusible fleece. You want to cut them down about a centimeter or 3/8 of an inch so that they're a little bit smaller than each pattern piece. For your big main heart piece, this is going to be the back of your pouch or bag. You're going to get the rough side of that fusible fleece, the ones with the little dots on them. They're glue pieces that will heat up and glue to your fabric so that it makes it one nice piece. Flip it over, and then you're just going to press your iron down so that that glue adheres to the back of your fabric. You don't want to go side to side, just lift up and down, and you don't need to steam it. So now this is fused to the back of your fabric, just like this. And then you're going to do the same thing with the top heart and the bottom heart pattern fabric pieces. You don't cut this on the fold like the pattern says for your fabric. You're going to cut this just like it is on the pattern piece, and you want to make sure you're putting it on the right side. You want this to go on the wrong side of what's going to show on the outside of your bag or pouch. This is what's going to show, the right side facing the right direction on that fabric. So I adhered that fusible fleece to that piece. Same thing for the bottom. This is what's going to show. So I'm going to adhere that to the part that's going to show on the outside of my purse. And adding fusible fleece or any kind of interfacing to this is totally optional. You don't have to do that if you don't want to. Now go ahead and get both of your heart pieces. You're going to do this a little bit differently than you normally would think. Lay these with the wrong sides together. That means the back of both fabrics should be kissing. Now you're just going to add a few little basting stitches, which just means a few stitches in each of these little places just to hold these 2 pieces of fabric together. You won't see these with our finished product, so don't worry about how they look. Stay right close to the edge using about a 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. Now let's do that zipper. Make sure that your zipper is a little bit longer than your actual heart pieces, and then you're going to just lay the fold of your bottom heart for the front of your pouch or bag right up to that zipper. Make sure that fold lines right up to it, and then pin or clip that in place. I'm using a nylon zipper. You can sew right through these, believe it or not, so don't be intimidated. Now, if you have a zipper foot, go ahead and put that on your machine and sew right close to the edge of that fold to attach this fabric to the zipper. If you have a zipper foot, go ahead and put that on your sewing machine. If you don't, and you're like the rest of us who just don't like changing out the foot of your machine, you just want to move your needle of the machine all the way to the left. To do that, you're just going to change the width of your stitch to the highest setting. It's normally at a 5 or a 6, and that will move this needle here all the way to the left. Now go ahead and line up the side of your sewing machine foot right up to that zipper, making sure that the fold of your fabric is right up to that line as well, and sew all the way down this till you get to the other end, starting and stopping with a back stitch. Here's mine sewn. You can see me moving that needle help me sew right close to where the zipper is. Now we're going to do the same thing, putting the fold of the top heart fabric and lining it up so that it creates a nice even heart, and pinning or clipping that into place, and we're going to sew it exactly the same way on that top piece. Once you have done that, this is what it looks like. Now you want to go ahead and unzip your zipper just a little bit, and then you're going to hold this top part of your zipper together and just put a little basting stitch going right over top of it. It doesn't matter how it looks. This isn't going to show when you're all finished. This is just going to hold that zipper piece together so that it doesn't move around when we're sewing this top and bottom part of your bag later. If you're going to add a strap to this to make it a bag, get your pattern piece, and I've put a little guide mark of where you want to put a small mark on each of those top parts of your heart. Just a small one right at the edge, only small enough to where you can see it. This won't show when you're all finished. Now you're going to get your strap, and if you're using one like mine, which is kind of a nylon, it will fray at the ends and pull through your bag when you're all finished and using it if you don't heat seal it. Just hold a lighter or a flame right up to the ends of it, and that should do the trick. Now you're going to place the ends of your straps. Make sure your strap is nice and flat and not twisted up, right overlapping the middle of where your little markings are at the top of your hearts, right mid-center. Pin or clip those in place, and make sure your straps are going straight up and down, not curved or moved in any direction. And sew a basting stitch right close to the edge, using about a 1/8 of an inch seam allowance just to hold these straps in place. Now go ahead and unzip this heart just a little bit more, and then you're going to tuck these straps right inside of your unzipped heart. You're going to do this so that way as we're sewing, we don't sew through our straps and get them stuck anywhere. This is going to help keep those out of the way. Now, get your fabrics with the right sides together of your two hearts, meaning the outer heart pieces should be kissing. Go ahead and pin or clip all the way around this entire heart. The outer purse should be kissing, and the inner lining of this purse or bag is on the outside. Using about a 1/2 inch seam allowance, sew all the way around your heart. And if you don't have experience going around curves or sewing at corners, let me show you how. Make sure you keep that strap out of your sewing needles area at all times. I like to line up the side of my fabric with the very side of my foot of my sewing machine. Start anywhere on the heart that you want and just start sewing. Lining up the fabric to the side of that foot will help make sure that you sew this evenly using an even amount of seam allowance. Once you get to the corner at the bottom of your heart, you're going to make sure that your needle is all the way inside your fabric. Lift your presser foot and then rotate your fabric. Put your presser foot down and keep sewing like I am here. And you can see you can sew right over that zipper. When you get to your strap piece, make sure that it is laying nice and flat and pulled straight down. It's not curved any way left or right. Just be real careful about being mindful of where your strap is so you don't sew through it. When you get to the top point of your heart, I like to make a small mark, just small enough for me to see it right close to the edge. So that way I know where to stop my needle when I get to that point. I stop my needle right inside the fabric where I made that mark, and then I lift my presser foot, I rotate the fabric, put it back down, and I keep sewing. And again, be mindful of the strap, make sure that's straight. When you're going around curves, just make sure you sew slowly. Don't push or pull your fabric, let your machine do that for you, but just stop and start as you need to and sew slowly around those curves. Here is mine all sewn. After we have finished sewing it, you want to go around and trim down your seam allowance so that there's not any excess bulk right at your seams. And also, remember I told you before those basting stitches won't show once we're finished? You can see where they're hidden here. So now let's go ahead and trim down our seam allowance. If you have pinking shears, use those. They are a godsend. If you don't and you're making several of these, I recommend you getting some. You're gonna just cut all the way around your purse, making sure not to clip through any of your stitches. And if you don't have pinking shears, go ahead and clip small slits into your fabric all the way around, going right up to your stitches but not cutting through them. Now you're going to go ahead and cut a small slit at the top of your heart, right where that angle is. So that way, when you flip this right side out, that angle won't pucker up. And then you're going to just clip off the corner on the bottom of your purse or your bag, right there at the bottom corner. So that way, again, when you flip it right side out, there's no bulk at that seam, so that corner will poke out nicely. Now, I like to go ahead and put a couple extra stitches right where my straps are, right above where I've already sewn my heart, so that way those won't show, but it just adds a little bit more durability if you're adding straps. Now through your zipper hole opening, flip this right side out. You can smoothen out your seams with your finger. I like to use a chopstick in my everyday sewing and smoothen out each of my seams, and then I poke out the bottom corner of my heart as well. Once I have that all finished, I like to bring this over to my iron and press out any of my wrinkles that I got from the sewing process. Make sure that you don't put that iron over your zipper at all, just on top, below it, and then of course on the back. If you have straps that have any wrinkles and if you're using nylon, make sure you don't press your iron directly on them. You just want to press the steam of it, and that should get any of those wrinkles or creases out from where it was folded. If you want to, you can just wet it with a damp cloth as well. Now to add a cute touch, I like to get a piece of 5 or so inch ribbon and I press it right through the top of the zipper hole. And then I just tie it in a knot. I'm using a Rick-Rack ribbon trim, and then I just, again, tie it in a single knot by putting the 2 pieces of ribbon together, looping it around a finger, and then pulling that through the loop. I push that knot right up to the top, and to make sure that my ribbon doesn't fray like ribbon tends to do when it's cut, I cut the ends of this ribbon at a slant, and then I heat seal the end with a lighter. You do that just by holding an open flame right at the edge of your ribbon, and that's not necessary if you don't want to. I just like the neater finish. And now we're completely done. This seriously sews up in about 15 or so minutes max. This is a really quick and easy project to make for yourself or for a child if you use children's print. The pattern pieces are included in several different sizes, so you can make different size heart pouches. I've actually used this pouch too, making my children little Valentine's Day treats to give out in class. These are so cute and adorable. I hope you enjoyed my sewing tutorial. Please make sure to like this video and subscribe to my YouTube channel. You have no idea how much it really helps, and you'll be notified anytime a new pattern is released, and that is super easy to follow because I gear towards beginners. I have patterns for children, for babies, for household stuff, for adults, clothing, all kinds of stuff. So make sure you check us out at alohasewingcompany.com. And before you go, mahalo.